Well, Indonesia finally has its own made criminal code this month to replace the old one that had been used since the colonial era after years of process through discussion, debates, and controversies. MGN's Telly Natalia has more.
On December 16th, the Indonesian House of Representatives in its plenary session approved the final draft of Penal Code to become a new law. After the idea to draft own criminal code appears since the era of President Sukarno, the first president of Indonesia in the 1960s. The discussions have passed over 6 decades before finally it's approved as a new bill. Indonesia has been using its criminal code adapted from criminal code made by Dutch during colonial era, special for non-Dutch citizens in the East Indies or today's Indonesia. However, during its legislation process of the criminal code draft at the House of Representatives, especially post-Indonesia's reform, the process has triggered controversies that led to various rallies. In September 2019, before COVID pandemic affects all over the globe, a series of demonstrations against the draft bill were conducted, held by university students across Indonesia, including in Jakarta, in front of the House of Representatives building. Due to the protest, President Joko Widodo decided to ask the House to hold the discussion to further examinations of the draft.
Saya berkesimpulan masih ada materi-materi yang membutuhkan pendalaman lebih lanjut. Untuk itu, saya telah memerintahkan Menteri Hukum dan HAM selaku wakil pemerintah untuk menyampaikan sikap ini kepada DPR RI, yaitu agar pengesahan RUU KUHP ditunda.
The COVID-19 pandemic that has forced the government to limit the mobility of the people also contributed to the pause of the wave of protest. Through decades-long journey, finally on December 6th, legislators at the House of Representatives made their decision to pass the draft of criminal code into a new law. Not all of lawmakers agreed with the decision. A legislator from the Prosperous Justice Party, or PKS, walked out from the plenary session after the chair of the plenary refused to give him opportunity to speak. However, PKS and Democrat Party officially agreed to pass the draft into a new law with notions. Indonesian Justice and Human Rights Minister Yasona Lawli appreciated the passing of the new criminal code into law, saying it's a historical momentum for Indonesia. Yasona said the new criminal code will replace the old law that has been used since 1918 because it is not relevant with the situation in Indonesia now. Yasona said those who against the new legislation could file judicial reviews to the Constitutional Court. Public are still debating about controversy articles in the new criminal code, especially regarding people's rights to have their freedom of speech and expression. Public worry that those articles will become a setback to Indonesia's democracy, especially when it comes to articles about banning insults against president, vice president, government, and state institutions. But Justice and Human Rights Minister Yasona Lawli denied.
Pemerintah tidak berkeinginan untuk membungkam kritik. Penyerangan harkat martabat tidak berarti kritik. Harkat martabat, sesuatu yang berbeda, mohon dibaca.
However, there are still 3 years spare for the public in Indonesia to discuss about the new criminal code before it will be taken into effect in 2025.